Have you ever sat alone, replaying the same thoughts over and over, until they became heavier than your own breath? Have you ever felt that your mind was fighting battles your heart was never meant to fight? If your answer is yes, then this reminder is for you. Because there comes a point in life when your mind becomes your own prison, and the only key that fits the lock is tawakkul, trusting Allah with what scares you, what confuses you, what pains you, and what lies ahead. Today, I want to take you on a journey from overthinking to inner peace, from fear to faith, from exhaustion to surrender. Not by ignoring your struggles, but by rising above them with the one who never abandons you. Overthinking drains the heart of peace, while trust in Allah restores clarity, calmness, and direction. When a person becomes trapped in the cycle of overthinking, the mind turns into a battlefield. Every thought becomes heavier, every possibility becomes frightening, and every small situation grows into a mountain of stress. You begin to imagine scenarios that may never happen, conversations that may never occur, and problems that may never exist. Your heart becomes restless, your sleep becomes disturbed, and your chest feels tight without any real physical cause. This is the hidden cost of overthinking. It steals your present, it steals your happiness, and slowly, it steals your connection with Allah. Overthinking doesn't just create fear, it multiplies it. A small worry becomes a storm, a tiny doubt becomes a crisis. A simple delay feels like a disaster, and because the mind keeps spinning, the heart becomes exhausted. You start questioning yourself. Why is this happening? What if it goes wrong? What if I can't handle it? And the more you question, the heavier your heart feels. The more you analyze, the more confused you become. Overthinking convinces you that everything is falling apart, when in reality nothing has changed except your mindset. But when you turn to Allah with trust, everything shifts. Trust is not just believing that Allah exists, it is believing that His plan is wiser than your worry. Trust means knowing that even when it feels like you are losing control, Allah has never lost control. It means reminding yourself that your future is not built by your fears, it is shaped by Allah's perfect timing and infinite wisdom. When trust enters the heart, the noise of overthinking begins to fade. You start to see with clarity, not confusion. You begin to focus on what you can control instead of drowning in what you cannot. Trust in Allah does not remove challenges from your life, but it removes the panic from your heart. It allows you to face difficulties with calmness because you know you are not walking alone. It helps you navigate uncertainty with strength because you know Allah already knows what is ahead. The moment you place your fears in Allah's hands, you begin to realize that the burden you carried was never yours to carry alone. Allah did not create you to live in anxiety. He created you to live in remembrance, patience, and trust. When you trust Allah, clarity returns. Suddenly, a closed door doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like protection. A delay doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like preparation. A test doesn't feel like the end. It feels like growth. Trust turns every moment into a learning experience instead of a source of panic. You begin to see life as a journey designed with purpose, not as a collection of problems attacking you from all sides. Calmness also finds its way back into your heart. You breathe more deeply, you sleep more peacefully, and you speak more gently. Your decisions become balanced instead of forced. You no longer rush through life trying to solve everything in one moment. You learn to pause, reflect, and surrender. You understand that your job is to try, not to control every outcome. Your job is to plant the seed, not to dictate when it must grow. Allah controls the growth, the timing, the results, and the blessings. And finally, trust gives you direction. Overthinking leaves you feeling lost, unsure, and paralyzed. But trust guides you. It pushes you to make choices without fear of failure, because you know that even if things don't go your way, they will still go in the best way for you. You move through life with purpose instead of hesitation. You take steps with courage instead of doubt. You understand that Allah's plan is already perfect. Your task is simply to walk it with faith. In this way, overthinking may steal your peace, but trust in Allah restores everything you thought you lost. It fills your heart with clarity, it brings calmness back into your soul, and it points your life toward a direction filled with hope, purpose, and divine guidance. What is written for you will arrive even if the world stands against it, and what isn't meant for you will never stay, no matter how hard you hold on. This truth is one of the greatest sources of peace a believer can carry in their heart. When you understand destiny in this way, you stop chasing what was never yours, and you stop fearing that you will lose what Allah has already decreed for you. You begin to walk through life with a calm certainty. Nothing written for you can be taken, and nothing not written for you can be forced. Sometimes in life you will face doors that stay closed no matter how much effort you put in. You will try, you will hope, you will dream, but things simply will not move. And in those moments, you may feel frustrated, confused, or even abandoned. But what you don't see is the unseen protection happening behind those closed doors. Allah knows the future you cannot see. He knows the harm that would come with what you desperately want, and He knows the blessings that are hidden in what you consider a disappointment. When something is not written for you, Allah removes it from your life with wisdom, even if your heart does not understand it yet. At the same time, when Allah has written something for you, no force, no person, no circumstance can prevent it from reaching you. You may face delays, obstacles, pain, betrayal, or setbacks, but what is meant for you will always find its way to you. Sometimes through the most unexpected path, sometimes at the most unexpected moment, sometimes after you have completely given up. But it will come. Destiny does not need your permission. It only needs Allah's command. Many people exhaust their souls trying to control outcomes. They chase opportunities that are not theirs. They cling to relationships that were never meant to stay. They try to impress or please people who were never written as part of their journey, and the harder they hold on, the more pain they feel. Letting go does not always mean you have failed. Sometimes it means Allah is redirecting your life towards something better, something safer, something more aligned with your true purpose. There are moments when Allah takes something from you not because He wants to punish you, but because He wants to replace it with something far more beautiful. But the heart that is attached to its own plans struggles to see that. It holds tightly to what is slipping away, thinking that effort and attachment can change what Allah has already written. But no matter how tightly you hold on, what is not yours will eventually leave. That is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of destiny. And then there are times when you feel unworthy of the blessings that enter your life. You may wonder, how did this come to me? Why did Allah choose me for this? You might think it's too good to be true or fear that it will disappear. But when something is written for you, it will stay, not because you earned it perfectly, but because Allah decreed it with His mercy, not your perfection. Understanding this truth frees your heart. It allows you to walk through life with balance. You stop chasing what escapes you, and you stop fearing what is coming. You begin to live with trust. You do your part, but you leave the outcome to Allah. You work, you strive, you pray, but you do not force what is not yours, and you do not fear losing what Allah has safeguarded for you. When you internalize this belief, you find peace even in delays, comfort even in loss, and hope even in uncertainty. You stop blaming yourself for every closed door and start thanking Allah for every redirection. You stop seeing people as the ones who give or withhold, and you start seeing Allah as the one who arranges every moment of your life with precision. What is written for you will always arrive, and what isn't written for you will never stay. And once you truly believe that, your heart finally rests. Allah sees the entire picture. You only see a small fragment, so surrendering to His wisdom is the highest form of relief. This truth, if understood deeply, can transform the way you think, the way you cope, and the way you walk through every chapter of your life. As human beings, we often judge life based on what we can see in front of us. A disappointment, a delay, a heartbreak, an unanswered prayer, a difficult test. Our vision is limited, our understanding is incomplete, and our knowledge is surrounded by uncertainty. But Allah's vision surrounds everything: the past you don't remember, the present you don't fully understand, and the future you cannot even imagine. When Allah plans something for you, He plans it with full knowledge of every detail of your existence. He knows what will strengthen you, what will break you, what will purify you, and what will elevate you. He knows the mistakes you would make if certain blessings arrived too early, and He knows the harm you might fall into if certain desires were granted too easily. He knows the people you truly need, the paths that will truly benefit you, and the moments that will shape who you become. But you, with your limited view, often think the opposite. You believe you know what is best, you believe you know the perfect timing, and you believe your heart can handle what it asks for. But the truth is, you only see a tiny fragment of the grand story Allah is writing for you. Imagine standing in front of a massive mural, but only being able to see one small corner of it. From that tiny corner, the patterns might look chaotic, the colors may seem misplaced, and the shapes may look confusing. But if you were able to see the entire mural, you would realize that everything is connected perfectly. Every line has meaning, every color has purpose, every detail fits the bigger design. Your life is exactly like that. You see the moments that upset you, scare you, or leave you questioning everything, but Allah sees the entire masterpiece. This is why surrendering to His wisdom is the highest form of relief. It is the moment your heart finally breathes after years of carrying the weight of trying to control everything. It is the moment you accept that your knowledge has limits but Allah's has none. It is the moment you realize that what feels like a setback may actually be a setup for something far better. It is the moment you stop fighting Allah's plan and start trusting that He is protecting you, guiding you, and preparing you even when you don't understand. Surrendering does not mean giving up. It means letting go of the illusion of control. It means you still put in effort, you still make dua, you still strive for what is good, but you stop torturing yourself when things don't go your way. You stop questioning Allah with frustration and begin asking Him with humility, Ya Allah, if this is good for me, make it easy. And if it is not good for me, remove it from my path and replace it with something better. When a person surrenders to Allah's wisdom, their heart becomes light. They stop fearing the future because the future is in the hands of the One who is most merciful. They stop regretting the past because they know Allah wrote it with purpose. They stop panicking about the present because they know nothing escapes Allah's knowledge or control. This surrender becomes a shield against anxiety and a cure for overthinking. Eventually, you begin to see signs of why certain things happened the way they did. You start realizing how one delay protected you, how one loss redirected you, how one heartbreak purified you, how one challenge transformed you. And you realize that Allah's plan was always perfect. You just needed time and trust to see it. Allah sees the entire picture, even the parts you haven't reached yet. And when you surrender to His wisdom, you find a level of peace the world can never take away. Your worries do not change destiny, but your dua can change your heart and strengthen your journey. This is a reality that so many people forget while drowning in stress, fear, and overthinking. When you worry, you create waves inside your heart, waves that shake your peace, your focus, your sleep, and even your ability to think clearly. You replay scenarios, imagine outcomes, and fight battles that may never even exist. Yet, for all the energy you pour into worrying, not a single moment of destiny shifts. What Allah has written will unfold exactly as He decreed, at the exact time He decreed, in the exact manner He decreed. Your worry has no power over His plan, but your dua, your sincere, humble, intimate conversation with Allah, has immense power over you. It softens your heart, calms your mind, and strengthens your spirit. It transforms how you walk through the very same destiny you worry about. The situation may remain the same, but you become different. You become stronger, more patient, more accepting, more hopeful, and more connected to your Creator. Worry drains you, rebuilds you. Worry weakens you, reinforces you. People often misunderstand thinking it is only about asking for worldly outcomes. But is far deeper than that. Is a lifeline. It is you admitting your limitations and embracing Allah's unlimited mercy and power. It is you acknowledging, I cannot control what will happen, but I can control who I turn to. Every time you raise your hands, whisper your fears, or shed a tear in sujud, you are not changing destiny. You are changing yourself to better handle whatever destiny brings. Worry focuses on the problem, focuses on the one who can solve it. Worry makes you feel alone, reminds you that you are protected. Worry closes your heart, opens it. Worry blinds you, gives you clarity. When you worry, you look at life through the eyes of fear. When you make you look at life through the eyes of faith. Destiny may not bend to your fear, but it bends with ease to your patience, your faith, and your reliance on Allah. Even when does not change the external situation immediately, it changes the internal world within you. It gives you the strength to endure hardship, the wisdom to make good decisions, and the courage to continue even when things feel uncertain or heavy. Every time you say, Ya Allah, something inside you shifts, your heart softens, your mind clears, your soul feels seen. You begin to understand that you were never meant to carry life alone. Allah did not ask you to figure everything out. He asked you to rely on Him, trust Him, and call upon Him. When you worry, you are relying on yourself. When you make you rely on Allah, and there is no comparison between the two. One is fragile and limited, the other is infinite and all-powerful. When you place your fear in your own hands, it suffocates you. When you place it in Allah's hands, He transforms it into ease. A person who worries constantly walks through life with a heavy heart, always anticipating the worst. But a person who makes walks through life with hope, even in darkness, because they know Allah is with them. They know that even if things don't go their way, Allah will guide them to something better. They know that the road may not be easy, but the destination will always carry wisdom. Your worries do nothing but drain you, but your strengthens every part of you. It shapes your character, purifies your heart, deepens your faith, and gives you the resilience to face whatever Allah places in your path. And when your heart is strengthened, the same journey you once feared becomes easier to walk, because now you walk it with Allah. Letting go does not mean doing nothing. It means doing your best and leaving the results in Allah's hands. Many people misunderstand the concept of letting go. They imagine it as sitting back, being passive, showing no effort, and simply waiting for miracles to fall from the sky. But that is not what true reliance on Allah looks like. True letting go is a beautiful balance. You take every step you can, you give your full effort, you work with sincerity and excellence, and then you release your attachment to the outcome. You surrender the final result to the one who controls every outcome. Letting go means freeing your heart from the illusion of control, not abandoning your responsibilities. You still work hard, but you no longer burden your chest with fear over what you cannot control. You still chase goals, but you no longer tie your worth to achieving them. You still make plans, but you no longer panic when life unfolds differently. You still love deeply, but you no longer beg people to stay. You still dream, but you no longer collapse when delays appear. This is the core of letting go: effort without obsession, action without anxiety, striving without drowning in expectations. When you do your part and leave the rest to Allah, you unlock a level of peace that overthinking can never bring. You stop questioning every detail. You stop fighting what is not written. You stop trying to force outcomes that were never meant for you. Instead, you begin to trust that Allah's timing is wiser than your planning. You accept that sometimes the result you wanted wasn't the result you needed. You understand that sometimes the doors that close are saving you from harm you didn't see. You realize that your role is limited, but Allah's wisdom is limitless. Letting go is not laziness, it is maturity. It is recognizing that your strength lies in effort, not in controlling destiny. The Prophet they taught us to tie the camel first, and then trust Allah, meaning, take every step required, use your intellect, your effort, your planning, your energy, but do not attach your heart to your own efforts. Tie the camel, but do not fear what happens after. Tie the camel, but do not lose sleep over what you cannot influence. Tie the camel, but do not believe the rope was ever the true protector. It is only a means, and the one who protects you is the creator of all means. Letting go also means letting Allah rewrite your plans without fighting him. Sometimes you want something so badly that you cling to it even when it hurts you. You hold on to what Allah is trying to remove because you think you cannot survive without it. But letting go means trusting that if Allah took it away, He will replace it with something better, maybe in a different form, a different time, or a different chapter of your life. And when that replacement arrives, you will understand why the earlier attachment had to end. What leaves your hands by Allah's command will either return purified or be replaced by something far superior. Letting go means quieting the ego. It means admitting that you are not the author of your story. You are a servant walking through it. It means trusting that even if the journey feels uncertain, the one guiding you is not. It means doing your best in studies, work, relationships, goals, healing, and worship, and then releasing the tension that comes from wanting everything to happen exactly the way you imagine. When you learn to let go, your heart becomes lighter. You begin to feel calm even in uncertainty. You start to appreciate effort rather than obsess over outcomes. You discover freedom in knowing that you are responsible for trying, not for guaranteeing success. You realize that Allah never asked you to carry the weight of the result, only the weight of sincerity. Letting go does not make you weaker. It makes you wiser. It teaches you that true strength lies not in controlling life, but in trusting the one who controls it. It reminds you that outcomes are not earned by stress, but granted by Allah. And when you master this balance, effort with trust, striving with surrender, your journey becomes easier, your heart becomes softer, and your faith becomes deeper than ever before. True peace is born the moment you say, Ya Allah, I trust you more than I fear what I cannot control. These words, when spoken from the depths of a sincere heart, become a turning point in a person's life. They shift your entire relationship with fear, with uncertainty, with pain, and with the unknown. Fear thrives in the spaces you cannot control: your future, people's intentions, sudden challenges, unexpected changes. And the more you try to control everything, the more anxious you become. But the moment you place your trust above your fear, everything inside you begins to settle. Fear grows when you rely on yourself. Peace grows when you rely on Allah. When you tell Allah that you trust Him more than your fear, you are acknowledging a profound truth: that your strength is limited, that your knowledge is incomplete, that your heart cannot survive by depending on itself. You are admitting that you do not have all the answers and you do not need to. You are reminding yourself that you were never created to carry the weight of the universe on your shoulders. Your task is to walk with faith, not to control every outcome. There are many things in life you cannot control. When blessings arrive, when tests occur, who stays, who leaves, which opportunities open, and which ones close. Trying to manage every detail drains your soul and steals your peace. But trusting Allah shifts your focus away from fear and toward the one who manages everything with perfect wisdom. You begin to understand that the world is not chaotic, it is divinely orchestrated. Every delay carries purpose, every hardship carries a lesson, every loss carries purification, and every blessing carries a deeper meaning. Nothing is random, nothing is overlooked, nothing is wasted. When you say, Ya Allah, I trust you, you are giving your heart the permission to rest. You are allowing yourself to stop fighting battles that Allah has already taken responsibility for. You are choosing relief over resistance, surrender over struggle, faith over fear. And in that surrender, you feel a new kind of strength, a strength that does not come from muscles or confidence, but from certainty that Allah is with you. This is the strength that carried prophets through their darkest moments, that carried the righteous through impossible situations, and that carries every believer who chooses trust over fear. This moment of trust also heals the wounds that fear creates. Fear makes you imagine the worst. Trust makes you hope for the best. Fear makes you see obstacles. Trust makes you see opportunities. Fear makes you panic about tomorrow. Trust makes you take tomorrow step by step, knowing Allah is already there. Fear suffocates the heart. Trust frees it. True peace cannot be found in perfect circumstances. It is found in a heart that relies on Allah no matter the circumstances. You can be surrounded by uncertainty, yet still feel calm if Allah is with you. You can be facing challenges, yet still feel hopeful if your trust is strong. You can be walking through a storm, yet still feel guided if your heart knows that Allah never leaves you. When you place your trust in Allah, your fear loses its power. Allah is more powerful than anything you fear. He is more generous than anything you hope for. He is more merciful than anything you regret. He is more capable than anything you attempt. Once you internalize this, life becomes lighter, not because it becomes easier, but because your heart becomes anchored. You start to walk with the confidence that whatever meets you has been written for you, and whatever passes you was never meant for you. You begin to navigate hardship with patience, blessings with gratitude, and uncertainty with serenity. You stop begging life to be predictable and start trusting Allah to guide you through the unpredictable. And this is where true peace is born, in that deeply personal moment when you whisper, Ya Allah, I trust you more than I fear what I cannot control. And your heart finally believes it. Here is a powerful, emotionally moving conclusion for your entire speech, written in a deep, reflective, Mufti Menk style tone without mentioning him, matching the themes of trust, surrender, and letting go. In the end, everything we fear, everything we chase, everything we overthink, and everything we try to control leads us back to one truth. Allah is the one who writes our story, and the heart finds peace only when it accepts His authorship. Life becomes heavier when we try to carry what was never ours, but it becomes beautifully light the moment we hand our worries back to the one who created us. When you trust Allah, you no longer measure life by your fears, you measure it by His mercy. You no longer beg for control, you beg for guidance. You no longer crumble under uncertainty, you grow through it. And you no longer chase what is not written, you walk with dignity toward what Allah has already prepared for you. Every delay has wisdom, every test has a gift, every heartbreak has a lesson, every loss has a replacement, and every unanswered prayer has a better answer waiting in its place. So as you walk forward, let your heart whisper with certainty, My Lord is with me, my Lord knows, my Lord decides, my Lord never abandons. Because the one who trusts Allah never truly falls, and even when life pushes them down, Allah lifts them in ways they never expected. May your journey be filled with clarity, calmness, and complete reliance on the one who sees every tear, hears every prayer, and plans every moment with perfection. Let go, trust Him, and watch how He transforms your life in ways your worries never could.